Fraud, hoax, lie. Oh, the mass graves in Canada. All these murderous priests and murderous nuns, this murderous Catholic Church killing poor Indigenous people, killing poor Indigenous children and burying them in unmarked graves under churches and under schools. Aren't they barbaric? This satanic anti-God religion and their faith and their church. This is the propaganda. This is the hoax. This is the evil. This is the um, demonic lies of the government of Canada and Justin the bitch Trudeau, and of course the puppet of enemy of the people, news, so-called news media, and of course their cohorts and their evil comrades in arms against truth, against God, against Christ, against His church. You know, in various organizations, be it media, be it publishing, be it government, be it other Christian denominations, be it even members of the very own Catholic Church, and our idiot, stupid, idiot so called Pope, a bishop dressed in white, residing in the Vatican at a hotel, Santa Marta. That idiot came to Canada to apologize for the evil of the Catholic Church, which the Catholic Church did to the Indigenous community, like educating them, teaching them to speak English, doing math so they can have a future in Canada, and forgetting the fact that it was the government, the secular government of Canada, who actually insisted that the church teach these people so they can integrate into society. But of course, we are now a multicultural Canada, so an integration in a British French system for advancement and prosperity is bad. No, we have to have a multicultural country with like every nation, every country, every ethnic group being separated and divided from the whole. So, what is being a Canadian? I have no freaking idea. I don't know what that means. It means nothing to me. It means zero, nothing to me. Back in the day, being Canadian meant you all have a British or French allegiance, or the history of the British Empire, or the British government, or the French nation. Of course, this is not to excuse any wrongs done at the so-called residential schools. Oh, they punished us. They, spanked us. Oh, they, well, I was spanked in school. I got punished with a ruler in my hand when I was going to school when I was young. Yeah, there was physical punishment for even doing bad in an exam. That's what happened. But oh my God, oh, we have to, be so sensitive. But of course, I personally would have loved what is past. No one can cry over spilt milk. But yes, introduce the indigenous population to the native people into the English language, into the math, into the society of Canada. But at the same time, try to maintain their various languages and their, in a sense, culture, not paganism, but at least their language and their heritage. Because I always prefer to, well, it should be preferable to preserve one's language in the future, but that does not mean not integrating into the general society. But anyways, that's bad. Oh, that's horrible. We taught them English and French. Oh, bad, bad, bad. So horrible. They should have just been ignorant, living in their tents and hunting buffalo. That's the indigenous people we want to keep in Canada, according to today. But anyways, other than that, they, of course, the big hoax, the big fraud, the big lie of human remains, unmarked graves. Oh my God. Oh my God, is there are unmarked graves of hundreds of little poor little children murdered by the Catholic Church and hidden under churches and schools. What a freaking lie. And I never believed it for 1 second. I said, show me one body, show me one corpse. None were produced. There were videos produced, several on YouTube, couple of years ago, 3 years ago, debunking all of that, showing us where are the frickin' graves, where are the frickin' bodies. Show us. Oh no, no, we had the sonar thingy, and with the underground wavelengths and blah blah blah, and we can assume there are a bunch of graves here unmarked. Well, dig them out. Show us. There's none. They dug up. There's zero bodies. Zero. And what do you even if they found one or two or 10 or 15 bodies, people died. People got pneumonia. People got tuberculosis. People died from various diseases. What are you going to build graves with big, huge grave markers for everybody who died? Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people died in the past with none of that happening. Maybe a simple cross to mark their grave, and that's it. But anyways, let's go through the story, which was published August 31st, 2023. The New York Post, basically talking about the indigenous leader in Manitoba, I believe, who actually got a company to dig underneath the church, and they supposed graves, unmarked graves of the poor little indigenous kids, and nothing was found. So no human remains found 2 years after the claims of mass graves in Canada. And remember all the churches and the vandalism, which churches burned, churches vandalized, churches destroyed, Catholics attacked, and it is all based on a demonic, anti-Christ, anti-Catholic church lie. Because, and the people are, as I always said, for forever and ever, because I'm in the retail business. So what I've always said, people are three things about people, which goes to me as well. But I try to be conscious of these facts, which are: number one, people are stupid. Number two, people are lazy, so they will not even attempt to find the truth. They will just listen to it like idiots. What the TV says, what the people reading a script say, and they believe it. Oh, scientists said. Oh, experts say. Oh, the government said. Oh man, it must be true. And they will believe that than believing the very word of God in the scriptures or the very teaching of the church for 2,000 years. They'll say, well, going on church on Sunday, well, if I feel like it, if I decide to go on Sunday to church, even though it is from the Gospels themselves, you see the children, the early Christians meeting every Sunday, the first day of the week. That was the day of prayer and the Eucharist. And nowadays, and the first post-apostolic, early apostolic writings, like the ancient uh, immediate successors of the apostles, like Ignatius of Antioch, Polycarp, and others. They talk about in the Didache, they talk about being Sunday. Every Christian met on Sunday, every Sunday. It is the feast of the resurrection, and that's why the church made it as a requirement to go on Sunday on Mass. Otherwise, you sin. If you're not sick, if you're no grave reason that prevents you from going to Mass, to attend the sacrifice of the cross and receive the Lamb of God worthily, a sin not to do so. Nowadays, like, if I feel like it, if I have time, I've got shopping, got to wash my clothes, I got to take the kids to gym. If I get a chance to go to church, I'll go, as if it's an option. This is not an option. And of course, that attitude was fostered again, pushed by the fake news, by the cowardly, effeminate church leaders, bishops included. I get messages from bishops, the local bishop, our Truth and Reconciliation Commission, our Truth and Reconciliation. What truth and reconciliation? It is the Lies and Antagonism Commission. The Lies and Antagonism Commission. The Lies and Division Commission, not Truth and Reconciliation. Lies and division. Lies and antagonism. Anyways, let's go through the article quickly. And you could actually, well, anyway, we're going to see it. After 2 years of horror stories about the alleged mass graves of Indigenous children at residential schools across Canada, a series of recent excavations, so they actually dug up things, at suspected sites had turned up no human remains. Yeah, because it was a freaking lie from the very beginning, as I said to relatives, friends, and I hesitated to put it on mass media because I have people who are Indigenous, and I didn't want them to think I'm being insensitive and proclaim a lie, but it is a lie. Have been lying to us from the beginning. So, anyways, So some academics and politicians say it's turned. It's further evidence that the stories are unproven. Actually, they're totally lies because they have never proved it. Show me the body, like the old ad for Wendy's. Where's the beef? Where are the bodies? Show me the frickin' bodies. So I cannot pronounce the first name. A group of indigenous people, also known as Pine Creek First Nations, excavated 14 sites in the basement of Our Lady of Sorrows Catholic Church near Pine Creek Residential School. Oh, it's a combo here. We got a combo, a school and a church, residential school and church, where the mass murder and starvation of poor indigenous kids happened. During the 4 weeks of this summer. The so-called anomalies, which they were first detected using the ground penetrating radar. Um, but on August 18th, Chief Derek Napinak of remote Pine Creek Indian Reservation said no remains were found. And you actually see, you can watch him online. He has a big long speech about who they hired, the company they hired to do the excavation, which is used by the police. They found nothing. You can watch his video there. He also referred to the effort as the initial He also referred to the effort as the initial excavation, leading some who are skeptical of the original claims to think that even more are planned. I don't like to use the word hoax. Well, I do because it is a hoax, a lie, a fraud, uh, because it's too strong. But there are too many falsehoods circulating about this issue with no evidence. Jack Roulon, a professor emeritus in the Department of History at the Université de Montréal, told the Post Wednesday. So this is the chief. You can watch his video. Actually, it's circulating online where he actually talks about it. And there was another website, I can't find it right now, which has a clip of his talk debunking this whole fraud. Nonetheless, he welcomed more excavations because of the enormous adverse publicity and stain left on Canada. On Canada, it's the puppet idiot criminal Justin Trudeau who promoted this lie. After the first reports of the alleged mass graves, now they're called alleged. Oh, they call them mass graves, and people are like, "Oh, we have mass graves in our schools." Oh, my sister's kids go to a school here. It's like, "Oh, they have found graves in our site." Oh yeah, where are they? Show me the frickin' bodies. They're none. Bunch of lies. Nonetheless, he welcomes. Okay, this has all been very dark for Canada. No, it's for the Catholic Church and the Catholic faith and Catholic Christians. We need more excavations so we can know the truth. Well, yeah, I guess 14, 15, 16 enough isn't enough. You can't even find one body. Roland said, too much has been said and decided upon before without any proof. So other than the burning of the churches, the defacing of the churches, the vandalism, um, and then they have let's bring down the flags. No kids left behind. Remember the children. Oh, remember the lie. This shows you the power of the fraud media. In May 2021, the leaders of the British First Nation band Te Kamloops Te whatever announced the discovery of a mass grave. More than 200 indigenous children detected via ground penetrating radar, the same fraud mechanism like the PCR gold standard test to find the magic virus. It's the same kind of fraud. Um, at a residential school in British Columbia, the radar found anomalies in the soil, but no proof of actual human remains. Yeah, because there are none. Um, this is James McRae, former Attorney General of Manitoba. He resigned because, he said the truth, because the world, the media, cannot handle the truth. They want lies and they want shit and they want to, what is the word? Roll in it. We had um, we had an knowing we had a knowing in our community that we were able to verify. To our knowledge, these missing children were undocumented deaths. Roseanne Casimir, chief of whatever it said in a statement on May 27, 2021. The band called the discovery, whatever in their language, the missing. Pine Creek and Kamloops were among the networks of residential schools across Canada run by the government and run by the government, okay, of Canada, and operated by churches from the 1880s through the early 20th century. Experts say an estimated 150,000 children attended the schools. So even if they find 50 dead bodies, natural causes. Uh, this is a picture of the grounds of the former Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia. You know, all this big school to educate the Indigenous children. What a crime. What a horrible crime. Teaching them the languages of Canada so they can make a better future for themselves in Canada. Oh, what a horrible, horrible crime. Where there were some believe where some believe Indigenous students may be buried, of course, but they found none. Though there have not been any excavations, oh, a bunch of stuff. But until last week, there are videos from a year ago, from 2 years ago, debunking this lie, saying, "What? Show me the bodies. Show me the bodies. There is none." Uh, but until last week, there hadn't been any excavations in the alleged burial spots. There still have been no excavations at the Kamloops and other days. They don't stop. Didn't stop many in Canada from painting a demonic picture of the residential schools and those who staffed them. And that was intentional by the government of Canada, by the demons that run this country, and by their cowardly puppets in the church. The system forcibly separated children from their families for extended periods of time and forbade them to acknowledge their indigenous heritage and culture or to speak their own languages. Well, of course, if you go to French immersion school, if you're an English speaker, you are kind of forbidden to speak English because they want to force you to speak French. So you understand French and you become fluent in that language. That's the whole purpose of it. According to the website of the First Nations and Indigenous Studies at the University of British Columbia, um, and they did all these memorials and the flowers and the crosses and the flags, all for a lie, a fraud, a hoax. Kind of like the 2020, 2021, 2022 magic disease, which, where people actually died older than the life expectancy. It is a very horrible thing. People die older than life expectancy. Well, something has to be done about that. Let's take some experimental stuff to be protected. Within days of the Kamloops announcement, Prime Shit Justin Trudeau decreed, partly at the request of tribal leaders, that all flags on federal buildings fly half-staff for a lie, for a hoax, for a fraud. The Canadian government and provincial authorities pledged about $320 million to fund these more research, and in December pledged another $40 billion involving First Nations child welfare claim settlements that partially compensated some residential school attendees. Oh, sorry, we're going to compensate you for educating you. All right. And of course, there was no bodies. Pope Francis, Pope dressed in white, Pope idiot, issued a formal apology on behalf of the Catholic Church. Well, sorry, take me out of that apology. I do not apologize for it. Which ran many of the residential schools, facilities, and asked for God's forgiveness. Yeah, God forgive you, you piece of shit, Jorge Bergoglio, also known as Francis. A number of writers, academics, and politicians like Roulon have come out cautioning against their. Look at what they did. Look at this. Look at this. Claims of mass graves. So they vandalized it because of claims of mass graves. Oh, so they vandalized it because of a fraud, of a lie, of a hoax. A number of writers, academics, and politicians like Roulon Ruillard have come out cautioning against the claim that hundreds of thousands of children are buried at the schools, but they have been labeled genocide deniers. Anything that doesn't go against the mainstream, against the lies, the mainstream lies, are deniers. you know, the fraud thing deniers, science deniers. Oh yeah, yeah. I'd be. I'm a proud denier of frauds. I'm a proud denier of lies. I'm a proud denier of hoaxes because I'm not stupid. I'm not a sheep, and I'm not lazy because I actually look things up. Even though many of the skeptics do not dispute the conditions at the schools were often harsh. Well, yeah, that's the way discipline was administered back in the day. Not, I'm pretty sure, not just to the indigenous population, but to, to the white population as well. The evidence does not support overall gruesome narratives put forward around the world for several years, a narrative for which verifiable evidence has been scarce or non existent. So, meaning fake, fraud, lie, deception. James McRae, a former Attorney General for Manitoba, wrote in an essay published last year. Why is the stupid thing there? Anyways, McRae resigned from his position on a government panel May after his views on residential schools outrage indigenous groups and other activists and politicians. So they're outraged by truth. They are outraged by facts. They embrace lies. They embrace hoaxes. They embrace frauds. You know, because it benefits whoever is running these organizations. McRae resigned from his on yeah Archdiocese of Vancouver Archive, Kamloops Indian Residential School, 1937. Beautiful picture. Students, teachers, principal, bishop. Sorry for educating the kids. Sorry, we should have just let them be. Uh, they were forcibly separated from it. If I'm a poor indigenous parent back in the day, I want my kid educated for free and actually learn the language of the country. I would send them. Oh, they made them refuse to let them speak their native languages. As I said, if you go to a French immersion school, a German immersion school, they will forbid you to speak your language because they want to force you to speak the language you are in the school to learn. Otherwise, you will not learn it. But again, people are too stupid to understand that. Tom Flanagan, a professor emeritus of political science at the University of Calgary, told the Post Wednesday that he sees the issue as a moral panic, similar to the hysteria over repressed memories and alleged satanic cults in schools in the US in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, so another fraud. People believe things that are not true. People believe things that are not true or improbable, and they continue to believe them even when no evidence turns up. Yeah, people are stupid. That's the standard. Keep that in mind. People are stupid. That's the standard. The intelligent, the smart are the minority, are the significant minority because people are lazy. People are busy in life. First of all, they're busy. They've got stuff to do. They've got kids, schools, work, blah, blah. They don't have time to investigate the claims they see on television reported by authorities and the experts and the government officials and even church leaders admitting to it and bowing and in you know in humiliation to these gruesome facts. People don't have time for this, so they assume it's true. So I'm being kind of exaggerating. People saying people are stupid, but yeah, because when it comes to certain things, you have to say, hold on, this doesn't sound right. Well, show me the proof. Like you're just talking and telling me to believe. This is worse than a fake cult religion. I gotta just believe it because you tell me it's so. Well, we had a fake cult religion the past 3 years. Oh, the religion of science, the religion of the experts, the religion of the consensus, all on a fraud, a lie, a deception. I'm going to repeat what this professor says. People believe things that are not true or improbable, and they continue to believe it even when no evidence turns up. Flanagan said people seem to double down on their conviction that something happened when nothing happened. Eldon Yellowhorn, a professor and founding chair of the Indigenous Studies Department at Simon Fraser University in British Columbia, told the Post last year that he too was cautious about the veracity, meaning the truth, of some of the more highly charged claims. Yellowhorn, a member of the Blackfoot Nation, has been hired by Canada's powerful Truth and Reconciliation Commission, actually the Lies and Division Commission, the Lies and Antagonism Commission, to search for and identify grave sites which have not been found of Indigenous children at the residential schools. But he said then, that many of the graves he found from actual cemeteries, not fake. We found them by magic radar there, and it wasn't clear how they died. He said that many of the graves he found were from actual cemeteries, from real cemeteries, not underground in the basement of churches and schools, and it wasn't clear how they died. Yeah, that's it. So one big giant freaking fraud. So wake up, you people! Don't believe anything you hear because it's reported on the news. Experts said it. The government said it. Our beloved prime minister said it. So it must be true. It must be true. They can't possibly lie. No. Keep it in your mind, they're all a bunch of liars. Especially when it comes to the Catholic Church, when it comes to Christianity, when it comes to science, about basic biological facts, about discrimination, about racism, about right-wing conspiracies, about extremists. They're all lies upon lies upon lies. So that's it. That's all. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.